So my screen recording today will be in two parts. The first will be how I edit, do a complete edit in Lightroom, and the second part, in the second video, will be my edit in Photoshop. So this is of newborn baby August from yesterday's training session, and he was dinky. He was 13 days new and he weighed £5 5 ounces, so he really was a tiny, very light little baby. You can see some of the images here, and if I just scroll down you can see them all. So I've inserted my SanDisk into my card reader, and I've copied the raw files onto my external hard drive to keep them off of my Mac, and then I've imported them here into Lightroom. So we started off on the beanbag because he was actually sleepy, which was really good, and then we moved on to the bed, just showing different angles that you can do, and then change the colour up because it was looking all very green. And okay, so let's start. So the first thing that I will do is slide this thumbnails slider down to the left, because I want to rotate all of the images so that they're in the upright position. So I'm just going to select them. Just bear with me whilst I go through them all. I'm first of all selecting all the ones that will rotate round to the right. And grab yourself a coffee or tea, might take a while. Okay. And I'll go up here, I will select photo and then rotate round to the right. Excellent. So now I am just going to flip these ones which are upside down. And then a photo, flip the vertical. All right, we're getting there now. Oh, that one needs to go around to the right. Okay, and now the ones that need to rotate around to the left. There's not usually that many of those. All right, so photo, oops, rotate to the left. Okay, so now they're all in the correct orientation. So now I will go through and I will select the ones that I want to edit, want to work on. So I have 74 images here, and I will click on the ones that I want to edit by selecting this little circle here, and then you can see they'll start to be copied over into the quick collection. So I rather like that one and that one. Excuse the silences, the clogs are turning. The cogs, I mean. I really shouldn't talk whilst I'm editing. I'm going to select both of these because I need to check that they're in focus. I might need to use one over the other. These are so cute. I love these ones. I actually like both of them, but I probably need to make a decision. I'll select both for now. All right. And then come down. Oh, look at that. All right, select both of those. That one. And this one. Look at his little lip there. I quite like that one. Yeah, I do like these ones. And this one. You have to choose these, they're so sweet. And babies have those cute little expressions. Right, let's have a quick looky down here. Right. So this one. Oh, I forgot to rotate that one. Okay, let's go with that. So this is my initial culling. I might cull them even more because I'll have too many. Possibly that one. Maybe that one. Oh, I like that. These are nice. I've obviously used the 1.8 here. Lots of lovely bokeh. And this one's nice too. I'll have to make some decisions. This one I like. It's a little bit off center, but I can fix that. And I like both of these. I struggled a little bit with this one on the posing. His head was a little bit wonky. I couldn't straighten it up in the prop, so we'll go with that one because it's the only one of him smiling. Alright, and these were just using the standing baby. Okay, so we are down to 37. Alright, so now I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller because we really have to cut them down now. Alright, so the reason why I've selected all of these is because these ones will be in 2.8 and these ones will be in 1.8. So ideally, I'd always want to choose ones that are 1.8. So now I'm going to go into the develop module and just have a little look. So definitely all in focus. It's always in focus when it's 2.8. So I shot at ISO 80 using my 50mm lens and 2.8. 2.8 again. And now you can start to see, but we have a risk of it being out of focus. So yes, that one's out of focus, unfortunately. Nope, that one is fine. So this one will have to go. .8. Oh, I love those. 1.8. So let's go back here. 2.8. 1.8. Well, I like them both, but I'm going to go with the 1.8. Alright. It's fine using 2.8 for these sort of 3/4 view ones because you'll want both eyes to be in focus. And because the baby is dipping down, that's how we get this lovely dreamy effect down here where you've got the bokeh. If the baby was laying flat, then everything in this plane would be in focus, which is what we don't want. Alright. Okay. Yep, 2.8, so everything's in focus. 2.8, so let's go back. Right, I'm going to take off that one. Alright. So 2.8, 2.8. I think actually I shot all, oh here we go, 1.8 on that one. These ones are so sweet. Alright, I'm going to keep all those because they'll be fairly easy and it'd be easy to sync them because the lighting is fairly similar. I might take out that one actually. Alright. And let's have a look back here. And I'm going to keep that one as well. All right. 2.8, nice and sharp there. 2.8 still. 2.8. Always 2.8 with this one. So now we're going to 1.8. Oh, look. It's a little bit soft. All right, let's make some decisions here. We have, even though I use 2.8, we've got lots of lovely bokeh here, and that's because I'm in close to the baby. So the closer you are, the bokeh will be increased. Anything that's below the jawline here will be out of focus. When I'm further away here, lots more is in focus. So, you know, if you have got a 2.8 lens, then to get some nice creamy bokeh, just getting close to the baby. All right, so 2.8, 2.8, 1.8, 1.8. That looks fine. Definitely need to have this one in there. That's so cute. And I'm just going to go back and decide. I quite like that one, to be honest, so I can't decide. All right, we'll keep them all for now. All right, then the last lot, 2.8, 2.8. Now we have to decide here. I need you to rotate that one, so photo, rotate round to the right. Okay, keep that one. I have a decision now. This one, well, I'd keep that one, so let's get rid of that one. I was off center on the other one as well. All right, I'll let go of that one. 1.8, 1.8, they're both 1.8. I'm going to go with that one and get rid of this one. Okay, last one's 1.8, so yep, that's okay. This is 1.8, so no, that is not in focus. I'm just jealous of all of you that have got mirrorless cameras, especially Sony, that can focus every single time. All right, that one looks in focus. So this one has to go. That one's in focus. That one is. And then I'll have to do some serious editing on that one. Okay. All right. All in all, really happy with them. Okay. So I will show you what I do for all of them, and we'll see how, I mean, it's probably taken me about 10 minutes already just to do the culling. That's probably because I'm quite indecisive about that. All right, so here we go. I'm really happy with the green colour here, and my white balance on my camera was set to Kelvin 5300, and I have the colour guide. You've got like a crossbar which you can choose whether you want it to go towards the greens, the pinks, the blues, etc. And I have mine up towards the greens because my light, my Alien B, does give off a magenta tone, so I try to correct it in my camera with that. Okay, so you can see it is underexposed, which is the way I always do it, but because I shot at ISO 80, it gives me a lot of room to be able to increase the light where I want to. So what I will do is I'm just going to brighten it a little bit. And then I am really happy with everything else. The clarity I'm going to put down to -20 to soften the skin, and then we're going to move down and we're going to go to the HSL color slider, color panel, and click on this red one here, and I'm going to move it up just a little bit, so about plus 20 into the oranges away from the pinky reds, and then I'm going to try the luminance slider, which really works on this baby. So the luminance brightens or darkens the colour. So here we see, that is not a good look. And then I'm going to take it right up to about there. It doesn't work with all babies, and sometimes the hand can be brightened a little bit too much. So, but I think we can get away with it here. The oranges, I'm just going to have a little look here. So we can try desaturizing, or we can try moving them over to the yellows. Luminance, I'm just going to take the saturation down a little bit, maybe like -8. I'm going to go back to the reds and just take it up a little bit more. So now I'm going to do +30. So red hues +30, saturation I've kept the same, luminance +64. The oranges, I've taken down the saturation on that, -8. And then I'm just going to see what the yellow, there's no yellows in there, so that's good. There's no magenta fingers, which is really good. So that's all done. We don't need any of this. All right, so that's done. Easy peasy on that one. So now I'm just going to select all of these images which have a similar lighting. Select all of those by selecting on the first image. You hold down the shift button and then you select all of those. So I'm selecting 6 images and I'm going to sync all of those. I'm going to check all and synchronize. Okay. Right, on this one, we've got quite a red face, so we can, no, I'm not going to do that. Right, so I'm going to leave everything the way it is. The clarity, same, -20, come down, and yep, that's nice, I like that. So this one I'm increasing the reds over, moving the slide over to the oranges a little bit more than the last one. The luminance, that looks beautiful. The oranges, take those down a bit. Okay. The only thing I'm going to do here, well, I'm going to try, is just to bring those blacks down just a little bit and try the shadows, see which one I prefer. Just to add a little bit of contrast in there. Okay. Right, that's fine. All good. So now I'm going to sync all of those. The next one, I think I might need to check that on the focus, might have to pull in another image, but I'll keep going for now. Alright, so on this one, increase this a little bit, increase the exposure to +30, +45 even. No, I'm going to bring it down because we can lift the highlights on this one. Alright, and -20 on the clarity. Going to come down onto the reds. About +22. Luminance, we'll give that a go. Oh, that's so good. I like it. Alright, you don't want to go too extreme, but I am going to go to about +40 on that. Oranges, just going to knock those down a little bit to -9, and I can see there's not really any yellows in there. Okay, all good. So now I'm just going to see what happens if I increase the highlights a little bit. Alright, that's good. So I'm going to sync these two because they look very similar. Okay. Increase exposure just a little bit there. -20. +12 on the reds. You don't want to go too high because you can see what happens to the lips. It drains all the colour from the lips. Alright. So we'll go to about +46. And then the oranges, just take those down a touch. And then we have got, you know, pinky fingers. They're not magenta, but they're definitely pinker than the face. So I'm going to try going to the magenta panel and seeing if this does anything. Nope. Purple. Nope. So at this point I would create a preset brush, or I'd see if I've got one that works. So I click on this little icon here and there'll be a drop down, and I want to use the brush. And now I'm going to go down to my presets here and I'm going to choose Magenta Fingers Subtle. I think that's going to be too much actually. I'm going to try this, warm my face. Alright. Okay, I think I've done a pretty good job. I think I just need to... I'm going to delete that. No, it's not really doing much. I'm going to do that in Photoshop, I think. But I'll show you how to create a preset. Click on this one here. Click on the brush. And I'm just going to start to paint here. So this is the red mask showing you where we're going. I'm going to unclick it so I can see what's going on. And then I'm going to move the slider to the yellows. And I am going to reduce saturation just a little bit. Move it to the greens until we match in the face. So now our fingers are looking great. I'm going to click on here, which will bring up a little drop down, and I'm going to save current settings as a new preset, and I'm going to call them for now August Fingers, and I'm going to create, and then we're going to click done. Alright, and then we're going to go on to the next one, and we're going to have the same issue here. So I'm going to zoom in and brighten up a little bit, clarity -20, down, 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 hue to +28 on the reds, oranges, desaturate them a bit, and the luminance. So it's not so good here because of the fingers. It's brightening the fingers too much, so I might have to leave that one. Alright, and that's it on there. So now I'm going to pull up my preset brush, click on here, brush, and I need to look for August Fingers, which are there. If I click here, I'll be able to see where I'm going. I'm just going to paint over just the fingers, like this. Take off the overlay, and now we can see the same colour as the face now. Right, done. I'm going to fit this. So this one's shot at 1.8, and what happens is it allows more ambient lighting, so the images start to become a lot warmer. So in this instance, I'm going to drop down the temperature so it's cooler to about there, and I'm going to increase the exposure. I'm going to drop the clarity a little bit, possibly not. And then the highlights. I might do that later. Come down to clarity, -10, because it's already very soft, so we don't need to soften up the skin that much. And we're going to come down to the color panel, and the hue here is +26. We're going to try the luminance, just a little bit there, and that is it. We're going to pull up the brush, August fingers, and we're going to go over the fingers here. Click done. So now these all look very similar with the light, so I'm going to sync all of those. And now I have to decide whether I include the mask or not, so we will. And I'm going to synchronize all of that, all of those images. So I'm going to click on here because I need to see where the mask is, because obviously the fingers are in different points. So you can just drag this down so it's over the fingers. And then click on the erase button, show the overlay, and just take it off where you don't need it. Like that. Click done. Alright, same on this one. Let's find where the mask has ended up. It's right over there. I'm just going to use the erase, show the overlay so we can see where we're erasing. Like that, and I need to add. So I'm actually adding to this mask now because we need to add in the fingers. I'm going to add, and then brush, and then just going to fill in the bits that's missing. So you can see here A and B. So A is where you're adding and B is where you're subtracting. All right, that's done. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to go here. Drag that down, click on the overlay, click the erase, take it off, click the add, I'm just going to add here and here, that's it, done, okay. So on this one, we need to, I'm going to drop the highlights down just a bit and bring the exposure up, drop the highlights right down. Clarity, -20. And then we're going to come down here. I'm going to try the, oops, sorry, excuse my phone. I'm going to lift the darks here. This is the only panel I really, the other one that I actually use when I'm editing, and I think it works really nicely there. So this is the tonal curve panel here, and I've lifted the darks. So I'm going to come down to the red HSL, and then also it's like the baby's face has changed colour. Right, so on the red one I've brought the hue up to about there, about +31. I've decreased the saturation and the luminance. I am going to bring up to probably quite high in that instance, so +23. The oranges, definitely take those down. Okay. Still kind of orangey around here, but I'm also going to go into the yellows, and I'm going to take the saturation down. You can kind of whiz it up and down the slider just to see what's happening and see what you like. So, you know, maybe I'll increase the yellows. I think I will. Or maybe what I will do in Photoshop is matching the hat with the wrap. Okay, so I think we'll leave it like that. Yep, that's all good. This one I forgot to rotate, so rotate around to the right. There we go. So now I'm going to sync all of these. The hands are quite hidden, so with these ones, so we probably won't need to do the fingers. Alright, that one's good. Yep. Okay, I'm happy with all those. And then we have this one. So this was at 1.8. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm just going to increase the brightness on this one. It was on the dark side a little bit too much, but you know, I'm only on ISO 50, so it allows me to do quite a lot. I'm going to drop this down because it's 1.8, so it's looking very warm. So I brought it down to 4932, and possibly I might try the greens at -12 there. Okay. Come down to the clarity, so this will be -10. Come down. Can try the darks on this. Yeah, I quite like that. It sort of evens up the image a bit. And then same thing. Just move it up the slider until you're happy with where it's at. Try the luminance. It lightens the hands too much, so I won't do that. So just the red hue slider up to +27. Then the oranges, drop those down. Okay. And I'm going to increase saturation, the overall saturation, just up a touch. And then I'm going to sync those two images. What I will do is I'm going to use the preset brush again, so it's opened up a new mask, layer mask, August fingers, show the overlay, take it off. Yep, that's good. Alright, I'm going to click done here, and I'm going to bring the exposure down and the highlights down on this one. Select the brush, choose my preset, which is August fingers, and then show the overlay, just whiz over there, take it off so we can see what's happened. Perfect. And then this one, yeah, I think my lighting was all a bit screwed on this one. It's because I wasn't really happy with the way it was going, so I just took a quick shot because he was smiling, but apart from that, I probably would have just moved on to another one. Right, okay, so it's 1.8. I'm going to bring it down. What I'm going to do here is try and see what the auto does. Yeah, I don't like that. So I'm going to click back to auto shot. I'm going to make it a little bit cooler. You know, it's possible that I might not even use this image at all. It's just literally because he's smiling, and maybe I'll just crop it in and use it that way. But the colours are all looking a bit wacky. Right, I'm going to come down here and do -10. Try lifting it up, lifting the darks up a bit to like plus 10 or 11, and let's see what we can do here. The hue, take it up to about +30. Try the luminance. Yeah, that's okay. The oranges, we need to bring those down. Maybe even, I'm not sure actually. Let's see what happens when we do this. No, I'm going to leave it like that. And then the yellows, Just going to see what's going on with the yellows. So I'm just gonna move it away from the warm, go into the cool with those, and then just take down the saturation a bit. Okay, right. So now I'm going to go back to the beginning. I always do the cropping last, and I will just go through and crop my images, which is this icon here. I'm going to hold the shift key down so it keeps its dimensions, and then I'm going to just whiz through these and crop them. I'm just going to, because this is 1.8, I'm increasing the exposure. I'm going to take it down a bit from the warm colours. I'm going to try the highlights, but no. Okay. So I've increased this one to the exposure by +90, but I love the contrast going on there. So I'm going to leave. I don't need to crop that one. Up the exposure a touch, but I'm going to, because I've shot into the light here, we can expose the highlights, sorry, and bring down the black. So if we want just that increase on the contrast of the image. All right. I hope you're all still awake. All right. Whack those up, highlights up to +100. I think that one's looking a bit orange now. You'll sort of notice more things when you go through them, so I'm just going to take the oranges down just a bit more. Next one, oranges down on this one as well. Okay, oh, that's because I didn't bring the temperature down on these ones. All right. So the baby's tilting a little bit too much to the left, so I'm just going to correct it like this. I'm going to go back down to those oranges. Just bring them up a little bit now. Okay. Next one. Alright, oh, that's all good. Again, just going to rotate it around. We can go with that. Just going to bring the darks, increase the blacks on this image because it's another one that's shot into the light, so we can really go for it with the highlights and the blacks. Up the highlights on this one too. Try the highlights. Yep, that works. Make it just a tiny bit cooler. Bring up those highlights just a touch. We can just try the blacks on this one to see how we feel about it. Just a tiny bit. Alright, next. Bring up those highlights. And we can go all the way up to 100. Just going to rotate it around just a tiny bit. Crop it in. bring the baby over a little bit to the left. Oops. Right, for this one, whenever I use the bed, if it's a bit wonky, then I come down here and I will try clicking the enable profile. Yeah, I like it in this instance, so this is the lens correction. I don't usually use it on the dark ones, but I think it worked in that one. And I'm going to come down to the transform panel, click on the guided tab, and then I am going to put these lines along the lines of my beds. To straighten it out. That's not bad. That one doesn't look so straight though, does it? So you can click on this one to see what's happened. Usually it does a great job, but I think it's maybe because I went on the inside of the bed, unlike usual when I go on the outside of the bed. And then click on here and come down there. Alright, so that should have done a better job. Okay. Next one, same thing. I'm just going to increase the exposure whilst I'm here. That one's all right. We can sort of check. We can use the crop tool and then just use those grid lines. Okay. Next one. Just going to rotate it around just a little bit. I'll see how Lightroom deals with this over here, but usually it doesn't like corners, but it might like this one. So I'm just going to drag this over here and try to line it up. Yeah, that's good enough. So I've selected the crop tool, and I'm going up to this corner until the little arrows change, which shows that you can go left or right diagonally. And now I'm just going to bring this one round and crop in. So it's kind of bowing a little bit. So we'll see what the enable profile correction does. Okay. Trouble is, it just lightens the edges as well, so I'm not going to use it in that instance. Alright, this one. My foot. It always selects a really random place. It's nothing like the original clone area. Alright, we can try to do enable this one. No. Use the guided. It may not work on this one because it's a crazy angle, but we'll see. Done. Yeah, that's good. I like it. All right. Then I will try this here. Come on now. Yeah. I'll do that in Photoshop. And then I'm just going to up the highlights. Bring down the blacks a little bit. All right, next one. I mean, you could leave it like that, diagonal. The only thing here, if we start to wiggle it around like this, we're going to lose quite a lot of the picture. So I think it would be something that I do in Photoshop, so let's just see. I'm clicking Command Z to bring it back to the way it was. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I'm going to pop up the highlights there to +74. Next one, we can get away with this one. So up at the corner, rotate it round, bring it down just a bit, make sure the baby's central, and done. Next one. We need to level out bed, get rid of that. Come down, guided panel, and then we just whiz across here, and here, and there. Okay, done. Next one. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, fourth end. Yeah, it does a blinding job, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm just going to move it over, yeah, a little bit that way, and just bring down just a touch. Okay, we're nearly there. Just centralize it. Next one. Holding the shift key down and making it central. Next one. Almost done. My nemesis picture. This is actually a Graceland's neoprene mat. I got 4 colours on one mat, and this is the one I didn't really like. I wasn't sure how the colours were going to come out, and as you can see, it's kind of more blue than green, but at least I've given it a go now. Okay, and that's it. So now what I will do is I will go into the library module. So now we've got 27 images, and I will Command A to select all of them. It's going to think about it. And then I'm going to export. I'm going to now create a folder onto my iMac. Hang on a minute. Oh, it's changed it. To edit, just ignore me rambling. Right, new folder. And we have got August, Nichols, then I put the baby's age, and create. Then I create another folder which says best, click create, choose that one. That's all we need to do on the export location. Then the file name in, I keep the file name as it is, but I'll add a little underscore, click done, and then come down. You just need to make sure that the quality is 100 here, and then resize to fit. So I export all my files out unless I know someone wants a really, really big canvas or big print, then I'll have this higher, but generally speaking, I'll resize to fit the long edge at 14 inches, and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch. So that means now all that cropping I've done doesn't really matter, because every single image is going to be exported out at 14 inches in length. I don't do any sharpening because I like to stay in control of that, and then I will click export. Right, and that is Lightroom. So the next video will be in Photoshop, where literally almost everything is done. A couple of images that I'll need to work on, but I will smooth the skin, use those actions by LSP, and is it from the sky? Yeah, and that'll be it. So most of the work I've done in Lightroom. So I shall speak to you shortly. Bye.